Hello there, Paul Butler here from PrimeDisclosure.com. In this video today, I wanted to read an article and talk a little bit about Bigfoot, or who we call Sasquatch. Now, many people in the metaphysical and spiritual slash paranormal type interest have been interested in Bigfoot for many years, and there's many theories, many different teachings about Sasquatch. Now, I myself believe that this being could be an interdimensional being. I doubt it's a physical 3D biological creature. My thoughts is if this creature only can be seen when he wants to be seen, or coming in between worlds, then this must be a higher dimensional being that can sometimes bring their frequency down into our dimension, the third density or fourth density, wherever you believe this reality is. So I found an interesting article here on SasquatchPeople.com about one man's encounter. I wanted to read a little bit about this to you. Now, I've heard a couple people's encounters with Bigfoot, and I've had a teacher that knew where a family of these Bigfoots lived up in the state of Washington. I'm not sure exactly where that was, but people have had sightings of these beings different parts of the U.S. and all over the world. So I'd like to read this article. The following article is important messages from the Sasquatch given to British Columbia native SunBow TrueBrother. In these messages, the history of all details of the universe and connection between the human Sasquatch and some star species are outlined, as well as the reasons. That may remember, I'm 42 years old. As a child, I used to watch The $6 Million Man. I don't know if you ever watched that, but I remember there were a couple episodes with Bigfoot. And it's funny because, you know, the global elite and people in these higher places of power do reveal certain things through Hollywood, TV shows, movies, and different things. Now, there's different theories about why they do this, to kind of throw people off, to push their propaganda. There's many reasons why they do this, but I remember in those episodes it ended up being that Bigfoot was some kind of biological, technological creature that some higher dimensional or otherworldly beings created as kind of like a being that can explore this world and learn things and interact with other species. But okay, so these are the answers, the questions that everyone is asking. They offer so much wisdom and sound advice on how we can all evolve spiritually and connect with our big brothers. The Spirit of God and our Sasquatch guides led me, this person Kelly, to find this gentleman and his messages on 9/28/2015, which is September 28th. Today's October 2nd. As they told me for months now that I would continue to meet more of our soul tribe and others like us to help share the messages of love and peace and responsibility that we have here on Earth. SunBow had never even heard of Kiwani's research or books, so you know these messages are truly authentic. The Sasquatch were very excited that we have connected now so that we may work together to save humanity and Mother Earth. These messages are in complete alignment with everything that Kiwani and I know, as well as the hundreds of other contactees that have and still receive messages from our loving big brothers. This is very lengthy, but I promise you that you will enjoy learning and remembering this ancient wisdom, and that you will reread it again. The Sasquatch have been continuing to share information through him while he is available to do so, and we are very thankful for his willingness. Any new messages will be updated on this post as they become available. You may also see these messages and others, add your own, and connect with kindred spirits on a new Facebook page that has been started calling Wisdom and Messages from Our Elders. I'll put a link in the video below, and I'll put a link to the full article. I'll read a couple of the conversations, a couple parts here. It's in 6 parts or more, so it is kind of lengthy, so to keep this video a little shorter, I'll read a couple parts here. So, conversations with Sasquatch. Although some call him Bigfoot, Yeti, Yahweh, Babalu, Misabe, and a variety of other names, I call him Sasquatch, one of the most famous names coming from the Coast Salish language of so-called British Columbia. I say him, although the species of two-leggeds also have genders and families, but the ones who choose to show themselves and interact with us humans are most often wise older males and protectors of their tribe. True previous encounters and lots of research in different sources, including many accounts from native traditions, had awakened my interest in this mysterious being. 2 close encounters this spring with direct communications brought me in many clear answers and teachings. In May on Vancouver Island, prime Sasquatch country by excellence, 1 week after finding tracks by Cleoquet, I did ceremonies and chants echoed in the mountains around Kennedy Lake. On a side note here, many people are skeptical of Bigfoot and Sasquatch because they have not experienced personally any encounters, just like most of the paranormal or mysteries of this planet. To truly believe in something, most people have to experience it. So, but these higher beings are not going to just present themselves to most people. I don't care if it's our sky brothers and sisters, Sasquatch, interdimensional beings. And one reason I believe myself is that many people would be traumatized by this because it does not fit into their belief system. They can't perceive anything beyond the known. So to them, and based on experiences that I've witnessed and have been told about, many people are traumatized by things like that. So they will not appear until the person is ready. And also, many of these beings, you must go through a type of ritual. Now, according to Chief Golden Light Eagle, to experience an encounter with Sasquatch, you must do a ritual for 4 different days. One day, I believe he said, was in the mountains with the wind. Another day, and fasting while doing this. Another day in the desert, the heat. One day in the water. And I believe one day in a cave. But Google, on YouTube, search Chief Golden Light Eagle and Bigfoot, and you should be able to find that talk he gives about that. So, okay, so back to this story here. He was in the mountains around Kennedy Lake in Vancouver Island. That night, a loud bang sounding like a big truck being hit with strength on a hollow tree caught my attention. Then another one closer. Then a big tree being shaken and broken, and another one closer made it clear as to who it was. When I heard his footsteps coming my way, I knew he was coming to meet me. He stopped and sat just a few yards behind my tent. I said to him in spirit, "We are relatives. I come to meet you as a brother, to learn of who you are. Maybe you can help me understand why sad stories have happened between your people and mine. and maybe we can help in healing our collective past. Sasquatch said the communication was telepathic, through exchange of thought forms translated and interpreted here in words and human speech for our human people. You heard our call and you came. I heard your call and I came. I am an elder seer of my people, sent to meet and teach you. I haven't met any of your people who could talk with us in a few of your generations. My and your people used to be close brothers, living side by side in the early ages of the human species, when you could still sit in the council of the star elders. We were your elder brothers, protecting and teaching you. We helped your species to learn, grow, and adapt to this home planet where you were created, on which we had been living since long before your conception. Our people, like yours, were bioengineered by the star elders, but we were born many eons before you were. Our conceptors added to their alien genetics in the DNA of the most evolved and adapted species of that era. A giant lemur, now long extinct, just like they did to create your species much later with the DNA of another evolved large primate. That you call Anthropopithecus. That's a tough one. This is why our genetics and yours are so closely related that our species have interbred. They can interbreed, I should say. This is also why your species and ours are the only two having spliced genes in this home planet. So we come from the same star seeds, making us relatives, but our earthly ancestors are different. So we are not your ancestors, but your elder brothers. My people were created as part of a cosmic plan to allow ancient souls of star beings to incarnate on this young planet and help it evolve into an intergalactic outpost of consciousness. While discovering its many resources and life forms, we were conceived to possess mighty physical strength and resistance, with thick skin and fur to adapt to every possible environment and climate, from snow-capped summits to dense jungles, and be protected from mosquito and snake bites, with strong limbs enabling us to break trees, run fast, jump high and far, keen eyesight, and clairvoyance to see in the darkness, even in the deepest caves of the underworld, and huge... Sorry about that, let me... Okay, where was I? So the Sasquatch are able to swim underwater over long distances and be perfectly autonomous and self-sufficient without need for any external material support. We were also gifted with powerful psychic abilities that we have kept to this day, including telepathy, mind reading, remote viewing, hypnosis, astral projection, dematerialization, teleportation, shape-shifting, and permeating consciousness. This last ability allows us to impregnate an area and surround entities with our soul. So we might be perceived as interdimensional beings, but in reality we are incarnated species with highly developed psychic powers like none other from this home planet. Your first ancestors, too, were created with those same psychic abilities, but your evolutionary course has largely depleted your gifts as well as your longevity. We have kept our connection with the greater soul of our species like most animals have, while our telepathic abilities allow the average individual among us to tap in and communicate from distances with any other gift with this faculty. So any one of us can know at any time how any other thinks, feels through telepathy. When one connects with our greater soul, the whole species can potentially know about it, but our individualities remain independent and free, so individual behaviors are not always representative of our greater soul species. Likewise, we can read minds and intentions of others, That's why those fools who chase us like beasts with guns and infrared glasses will never catch a glimpse of any of us. Our telepathic abilities allows us to foresee who is coming and feel their intentions. So we can hardly ever be surprised by one of yours, except maybe when we are deeply asleep or when one of your fast-moving vehicles comes our way. Otherwise, we show ourselves to your people only to frighten away some unwelcome intruders, or in the rare cases when one of you is willing and able to communicate peacefully in spirit with us. Once one of you has established contact with our greater soul, we can always communicate in spirit afterwards, regardless of distances, much like we do with our star elders. Now here's part 2. Sasquatch said the communication was telepathic through exchange of thought forms, translated and interpreted here in words and human speech for human people. As we are incarnated beings, there are plenty of physical proofs of our existence, but we conceal usually most traces and offer proper burial to our dead in undisclosed protected locations inaccessible to your species. Some of your people go around hunting us either to find or to cover up physical proof of our existence, and they have succeeded in doing both. Being highly telepathic beings, when some of you identify tracks left by one of us, then one of ours knows who it is and what is their intention. Likewise, when one of yours succeed in taking pictures of one of ours and publishes them, we can hear the thoughts of those seeing it and feel the fears, hatred, and ridicule we are subjected to in the uncivilized and civilization enslaving your people. This hurts our soul. For this reason, we avoid cameras and having our DNA sampled. Material proofs of our existence can also threaten the safety of my people, if used to track us by the powers serving the lower lords, including some of your people, knowingly or not. Our human allies are not concerned about proving our physical existence, since there will always be denial in the uncivilization of the lower lords, no matter how many proofs are provided, to maintain the official program of the global control agenda through the false doctrine of speciesism and ideology of domination. Our human allies are rather concerned about our rehabilitation in your collective consciousness. As your elder relatives and longtime allies, through the transmission of the ancient knowledge we have carried to this day, that was largely forgotten by your people, so that we can once again, as before, work together in reestablishing the divine law and cosmic order on our home planet. Some of us still live thousands of years and see your earthly kingdoms come and go like leaves on trees throughout the seasons. What your first ancestors could achieve when you were sitting with the immortals in the Star Council. But your people were later subdued under the control of the rebellious lower lords and modified to be more easily submitted. You were bioengineered to be depending and vulnerable, needing external material support for your basic survival, like clothing, shoes, fire, shelter, tools, or weapons, that my people do not need to roam wild and free in every kind of environment. This vulnerability keeps you afraid of blending with the wilderness through spiritual connection and bound to the material support offered by your uncivilization, which keeps you servile and submitted. You were given a larger frontal cortex and a more rational mind with the gift of articulating speech and language as part of a plan to transform this planet into a consciousness outpost meant for surveillance and protection of this galactic sector, since there was divisions in the heavens and wars among the stars. But you were conceived with a lower, flatter skull and deprived from the higher parts of the brain, seat of the 8th chakra, and much of the spiritual abilities that your original ancestors had received. My people are the living proof of the stories of your origins carried in your ancient sacred scrolls and the ancestral oral traditions of your tribal peoples. Our knowledge is what your people have forgotten about your true origins, nature, purpose, and destiny. This is why the lower powers that have taken over this earth are trying desperately to deny and cover up our existence, turning into ridicule for the public to keep ignoring the message we carry while waging in secret a covert genocide against my people. It all started in the times when the civilization you know as Atlantis emerged as a new seat of power for the Star Council of Earth, and the continents were divided between factions. Old Lemuria, our motherland, where my people in much later years were first conceived and born, had developed into a planetary civilization with a network of colonies and outposts around the world, many of which have left remains that still can be seen today. After ages of peace and consciousness, the divisions in the heavens reached our planet, but the Star Council established here could keep it safe and united. Nevertheless, after some time, a faction of star people based in Atlantis fell into the temptation of power and greed and went away from the greater divine law and cosmic order that they were originally meant to maintain and protect on your young Earth. After winning battles over our Earth and succeeding in pushing back invading forces, they claimed ownership and dominion over our home planet, which is not their home, and to which they were sent to keep watch and protect. Their claim was denied by the Council of Star Elders keeping the cosmic order, so the faction of lower principalities rebelled and banded with the invading forces they had been fighting against. They broke the covenant of the planetary watchers by manipulating genetics and breeding several experimental races of hybrids and slave species for their own interests and power, as opposed to the creation of my people and yours that were approved by the higher council of star elders within a cosmic plan for soul consciousness and planetary evolution. These genetic modifications were done for selfish purposes by the lower principalities against the higher divine law and cosmic order. Those artificially produced species, including giants, dragons, and monsters, were used as slaves and soldiers in wars against the Star Council of Elders, still based in Mu. Your most ancient cultures have kept the memories of those wars involving star fleets in their sacred archives and ancestral legends that have survived to this day. My people and your people took part side by side in those star wars to maintain the divine law and establish the cosmic order of the Star Council on this Mother Earth, our home planet. My people stood all the time with the Council of Star Elders based in Lemuria, our motherland, but your people got divided, many falling under the influence of the lower lords based in Atlantis. Some of them were enslaved in their army, and we had to fight them. As time passed, the conquering powers of the lower lords devised new ways to transform, again, the genetics of your people, turning them into more easily servile creatures with less spiritual consciousness and psychic abilities to take over the whole world. So, here we are. If you want to read the rest of this article, click the link in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And keep subscribed to my channel for more videos like this. And check out my website, primedisclosure.com. Thanks for checking out this video. And have a great day there, my friend. Take care now.